Alright, my fellow Russia voters. How Putin doing today? We don't know. Anyhow, we got a bit of news here out of thefederalist.com entitled, At Democrats' Behest, Terrorist-Friendly Imam Gives Prayer in Congress. Imagine that. Wow. Wow. Say hello to the new Democrat Party. Seemingly allied with just something completely polarized to everything this country stands for at its founding. Last week, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, introduced Texas-based Imam Omar Suleiman to deliver the noon prayer in the House of Representatives. The Imam had been invited by Rep. Eddie Bernice Johnson, Democrat, Texas. But the choice was far from benign. Suleiman has a very long history of advocating for the destruction of the State of Israel, home to half of the world's Jews. And because of Europe, they've had to flee back home. In 2014, he posted on Twitter celebrating a possible third intifada. For those unfamiliar with the nature of recent intifadas, they generally are marked by a series of terror attacks against Israeli civilians, goaded on by the terrorist group Hamas. Democrats. Their party is just changing faster than a bolt of lightning. My goodness. Not for the better, for the worse. Unsurprisingly, Suleiman has also expressed support for the boycott, divestment, sanctions, BDS, movement against Israel, sharing a video on his Facebook in 2015 that compared Israel's to Nazis. He has also referred to Zionists as enemies of God. Doesn't he mean Allah? Compared Israelis to Nazis. I can understand critiquing folks who are Israeli if there's something to critique. If there ever is, that's fine. That's not being anti-Israel or anti-Jewish to critique them. That's fine. But comparing them to the Nazis, who disarmed and genocided them? Very bizarre. Suleiman's social media activity is not confined to support for the destruction of the Jewish state. Suleiman has also posted at least one image in support of the Egypt-based Muslim Brotherhood, an organization Senator Ted Cruz and others have fought to designate as a terrorist group for its interest in establishing Sharia under the auspices of a global caliphate. You don't think this stuff would be concerning to the founding fathers? You think people would be watching sports playing video games? If the founding fathers were dealing with the British 2.0? The Trump administration is in the process of making that terrorist designation. The Muslim Brotherhood has various offshoots throughout the Muslim world, including Hamas, the terrorist group that seeks genocide against the Jews and violently oppresses Palestinian Arabs living in the Gaza Strip. This is the individual Pelosi decided was appropriate to introduce to deliver the noon prayer. Talk about clueless, out of touch, or something. My gosh. Pelosi. And that's even in a nonpartisan way. Just utterly clueless or something. Whether the invitation was the result of a deliberate choice or merely failed vetting, Democrats continued fraternization with those advocating for the destruction of the world's only Jewish state speaks volumes about the far left's capacity to swallow the party. They've destroyed their own party. It's a completely different party now. Same with Republicans. They both destroyed their party. There's either the Patriot Party with Trump or the anti-Patriot Party against Trump. That's where it's at right now. That's where it's at. You vote against Trump, utter destruction of the country. You vote with Trump, we have a brief shield from just utter chaos. But Trump cannot fix it all nor stop all the dissent. So, America's youth are just whacked out. Ay. Pretty soon, there'll be the Red Guard 2.0. America's own youth. They're almost at that point already. So, anyhow, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Boy, oh boy. Would this kind of stuff concern Georgie Washington? He wouldn't be sitting on his fingers. At minimum, raising the alarm. So, bonkers. Democrats are being clear-cut anti-American, anti-freedom, and we need mass deportations and revoking of citizenships, or the country's toast. Just basic common sense. There's no nice way to say it. Or else it's inevitably heading towards steep conflict. Nobody wants. So, best deport a ton of folks and revoke their citizenship. Common sense 101. It's not anti this or that. It's just common sense. So, anyhow, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you up ahead. Feel free to subscribe.